previous storm about 6 to 8. And the first storm did okay with it. You know, I was distracted most of the time. I used the snow blower. What I did was I had spray can mold release agent used for you spray it on mold so that plastic that's been molded will eject from the mold properly. I forget what's in it. It's some kind of synthetic wax-like stuff. And I sprayed the hole inside the snow blower and the chute with that. And that did a really good job. I really didn't have any problems with that heavy wet snow sticking at all. And it took about 3.5 hours for that first storm to clear the driveway and the path from the garage to the house and to the wood shed. And the second storm took about 3 hours, and I didn't have much problem with drifting. I had some drifts that were maybe middle of my thigh deep. Most of it was knee deep. And that's about 3 hours. That snowblower worked good again, so I was just about ready to finish. I was doing the sidewalk between the house and the garage, and pulled the clutch into the auger, and the auger didn't turn. What the hell? So I pulled on the cable, and started turning, and after that, okay, you have to drive a little later. I'm going to have to open that up, and it's got transmission, so I can it was 10 degrees, minus 10, minus 10. It's 6 now. And I started the wood furnace for the first time. I've just got to heat the base of that. Heat wood for the forced hot air. Boy, what a difference that makes. You know, once the floors are warm, the whole house is a lot more. It just goes crazy. So at least I'm the WB90CK to say 90GS.
A9ZS WB90CK. That's way cool. That blue likes hopping around in the snow. A lot of dogs like that. Well, we got garage kitties in the house, and he's very unhappy because he looks out the window and he sees the bright sunshine, and he thinks, hey, it's nice, it's warm out there, but he just isn't smart enough to stay in out of the cold. I don't know where the hell he goes, but I know if I let him out, he'll disappear, and usually 2.5, 3 days later, he comes crawling back. As soon as he's real hungry, he comes back, is what he does. So I'm pretty sure he's probably got a girlfriend at the neighboring farm or something, but he was meowing up a storm this morning. He wanted yelling, he wanted outside in the worst way, but we just can't let him out when it's sub-zero like this, because he's got some respiratory issues, and he does a lot better if he stays in the warm, and otherwise he's for his own good. That's the way as Michael would say, that's the way the pickle squirts. He's got to stay in. So anyway, he's downstairs in his chair right now sleeping, but he'll get up and bitch and whine in a little bit, and then he'll go, and then he'll eat a little bit, and then he'll, he's always got fresh kitty munchies. He loves Meow Mix, and and Fancy Feast. He's always got that, dry. He doesn't like canned cat food of any kind. He just doesn't like it. But anyway, and fresh water. He's always got lots of fresh water. I change his water typically 3 times a day, or sometimes more. So he's always got fresh water. So anyway, and he's doing a lot better these days than what he was a few months back. He was really having some respiratory issues where he was having a real hard time breathing and sneezing, and so I don't want to let him sit out in the cold. Oh, he's got a heated cat bed in the garage, but even so, when it's this cold, it doesn't. I don't think it does him a lot of good. Well, anyhow, we had the power go out on us on Friday for 2.5 hours. I fired up the generator, and I can run the whole house on the generator with the exception of the kitchen range and the water heater. I have to shut those off, but otherwise we can power everything else. Everything else just fine. And that's the longest I've ever had to run it. I ran it for 2.5 hours. And found out that I get about the same mileage as I get with my John Deere 318 garden tractor. I can put around on that for about an hour on a gallon of gas, and that's about what this generator is doing. It's 5 kilowatt Honda generator, and it's 5 kilowatts continuous, 7.5 kilowatt peak. But it powers everything just fine. It really does. But it took 2 gallons of gas to go 2.5 hours. Well, there's still a little bit in there, but not very much. So I just figure about an hour per gallon to power the house. And I typically keep 15 gallons of garage gas, the no ethanol garage gas, and anyhow, so I got lots of gas out there, and but it was interesting to run it. That's the longest. Most of the time, the power isn't out for more than 30, 45 minutes or whatever, and it's back on again. But this time it was out for 2.5 hours, so it was nice having the generator. I liked it. It all worked perfectly. So because I stay on top of that, I do maintenance to it and run it from time to time. I don't run it at full load, but I'll hook up my welding light. I've got a halogen welding light that takes like 1,500 watts, and I'll hook that up to it and run when I just test run it. I just run it every 3 months or whatever where I don't go crazy. I just run it for 15 minutes or so, but it's easy enough to I've got it all interfaced into the breaker panel, so it's easy enough to switch back and forth between the power company and the generator. It's real easy. It's physically impossible to have them both on simultaneously. There's a mechanical slide bar that moves down in front of the unused breaker, whichever one you're using. If I want to use the generator, I have to slide that bar up so I can turn the generator breaker on. And if I want to use the power company, I have to slide that bar down, which locks the generator breaker off in the off position, and then the power company can be 200 amp breaker can be thrown, and power company's back in there again. Well, back to you there, Craig. We'll see how the band is holding up. AE9ZS, and glad to hear Blue is a happy camper. WB9ECK.
some gas for it. I haven't run it in a long time. And I keep the gas, like you do, I keep the gas in like 5-gallon cans, plastic jugs, whatever you call them. And I've got a, I've got some tools I can put in my welder out. Welder out in the garage, back north. I don't have an interlock. I should. Stuff in the basement next to the main panel. So what I would have to do they're oriented in two directions. Stupid old water switch. And the main breaker moves vertically, and all the other breakers move horizontally. I have a lockout breaker. I'd have to make it myself. I just got to be careful here with what I'm doing. Yep. To separate sub panels, remove all of the important stuff like the water and put a relay in there, changeover relay. I got one. Probably double pole, so that anytime that breaker is used, good luck on that. I haven't had the power outage yet. I can't charge the battery today. A huge recycled marine battery. I can't even lift the thing anymore. Checked that out, topped it off with a little water, charged it. It's here under the bench. And I do have an inverter that can run off of it. If I have to. During Hurricane 86, it was 87. I was 87. These huge oak trees down, all up and down my power was out for 2 weeks and 3 days. And I had natural gas heat with a thermopile controller in the basement. And gas stove. So I was okay with heat and cooking. But it was for like portable AC/DC. Well, I answered the radio here. My mom had given it to me for Christmas. So I ran that off the Jeep. I pulled the Jeep in right close to the front door. And I ran 40-watt inverter. So I had a 40-watt light bulb in the living room, so I could sit there with the light on for a while, watch TV or listen to the radio, and man, I was all set. None of my neighbors had any lights in their houses at all. People were good. I walked the 2, maybe 3 months or it seemed like it was 3 months when I was younger. That's got Greek grandparents. I go in there and the guy goes, you get no electricity. They make some hammers. You get breakfast. I said, just make the hammers. I'll pay for it. So I got cash. And the guy made me a roast beef provolone sub. And I tasted my sub and I was getting ready to leave. And one of his brothers came out of the back with a big paper bag, shopping bag. He says, here, take this. I looked inside, there must have been 6, 8 subs in there. He says, it's which going to go bad. You might as well take it and and eat it, share it with your friends, whatever. So I had stuff for at least part of the first week. After that, I was bread and cheese. But it's good to see the parents have the generator. The reason I got the generator is without a pump electricity, I can't run my pump. I need to walk. Let's see what else. Been doing much radio stuff. They're okay now. None of the readings changed down here. So back over to you, Bob. WB9ECK, this is A9ZS.
Yeah, A9ZS, WB9ECK, 100% coming through here in fine business shape. Yeah, hey, that happened to me one time at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I pulled up to the drive-in and the drive-through, and what did I order? I don't remember now exactly, but I ordered some white meat breasts, a couple of breasts in the original, and pulled up to the window, and she gives me this bag that's got what I ordered in it, and I paid for it, and she goes, would you like to have some free chicken? And I go, what? And she goes, we have to throw this out, or we have to do something with it. It has to. She goes, it's perfectly fine. It's just past the time lot where they can sell it. And I ended up getting 20 pieces, I think it was, and I took it back to work and put it out in the break room, out on the table. And a lot of students come and go. We've had a lot of student interns and whatnot, and they just inhaled that. It was just gone, and in like 15 minutes it was gone. But I just that sticks to the back of my mind for some reason. You brought that memory back when they offered you, because it's either that or they got to throw it in the dumpster. And of course, there's always people that are fishing out of the dumpsters too. We had when I worked on the campus there, we had a lot of homeless people that would route their way through. They just walked through past all the garbage cans, basically, is what it boiled down to. And they weren't. None of them were violent or anything. They weren't bad people. They were just homeless. And from time to time, people would bring food in that didn't taste good. Really, it wasn't good food that they had made at home or whatever, and couldn't get the husband to to eat it or vice versa. And so that they'd bring it in and put it in the it was, the sign said in the break room, anything on the table is up for grabs. It's anybody's anything that's laying there is food, free food. And sometimes the stuff would lay there for the better part of the afternoon, because like I say, it was okay. It wasn't bad food. It just didn't taste great. And I would a lot of times take that downstairs and take it out on the fourth floor mezzanine, because I knew the places where they would look, and I would strategically place some of that, and then before I went home that afternoon, I would go around and make sure that somebody found it. Somebody always did. It may not have been homeless people. It may have been students. Well, here comes Garage Kitty. You can probably hear him. He's very unhappy because he doesn't want to be in the house. That's his pathetic, his pitiful yowl. He thinks he's being abused. So, well, anyhow, but younger than you were younger than I. When I go out here I went out this morning to take care of the bird bass and the feeders, the bird feeders. And I tell you what, Craig, by the time I got back in the house, I was just whooped. I was just from walking through deep snow. Boy, he's just not going to stop here. I'll give her back to you here, Craig. I got to have a little chat with him here. This is what he does. AE9ZSWB9ECK.
Yeah, that's got a pretty good voice on it. Sounds like she might be in the background winding him up.
She's talking to him. She's calming him down. That's what he does. See, he just panics, and he thinks, oh, the sky is falling, but it isn't.
Snowball, orange frost, devil dog, ring ding, all that stuff. And at AP Hoodie, we get milk, eggnog, yogurt, fudge. And this is all stuff that's been returned from the stores because it's past its sell-by date. Perfectly good. I've gotten here. Yogurt so bad. That's crazy. So one day he brought in a whole bunch of stuff. And, the same thing, Twinkies don't go bad. Yogurt doesn't go bad. Cottage cheese, if you don't open it, it's bad. So we just kept the refrigerator in the lab stocked up with Hostess products and yogurt, cottage cheese and stuff. It was great. Oh, and one of the places we went to get fruit, to get orange. So we were living high off the hog, as you might say. And the pigs really got fat on all that delicious junk food plus the dairy products. When I first started the consulting business, it was a little rough at first. And a friend of mine stopped by with a whole bunch of bread. It was like Panera Bakery bread, these huge giant boxes. He said, I brought these over so you could feed them to your mule. I looked at him and was like, yeah, okay, sure. Man, I had olive bread and all kinds of stuff. And I was eating bread for meals with cheese on it or something. And yeah, Alpha got some of it, but I was more like he was. The WB9ECK to say
Yeah, A9ZSWB9ECK. Oh, very cool. So, you mentioned Square D, and I was going to comment on that. That's what I've got out here for a breaker panel, the Square D, and I bought that lockout kit. I think that's what they called it, lockout. Quite a few years back, because I wanted it to all make code. So, when I went to hook it, Dick was still with us, RWS Dick, and Dick was just using his dryer. He'd unplug the dryer and plug his generator into the dryer, and I always used to chide him a little bit. You're living dangerous, all kinds of weird situations. And like you mentioned earlier, Craig, you have to be smart. You can't be stupid, and that's what happens. I think in more cases than none, we all trust ourselves more than we should, and that's why I like having this physical lockout. Square D, I bought it from Square D. I think I paid $70 for it. I felt a little foolish about that, but I could have made one. You're absolutely right. I could have, I've got the equipment and the know-how and whatnot, but this was so nice to get this kit and just install it into the breaker panel so that you know, it's a lockout. You can't have both breakers on simultaneously. It's physically impossible with the bracket. So anyhow, but I've always liked Square D products, and I've had pretty good luck with them. The whole panel, it's all Square D, and if you need a new breaker, their Farm and Fleet always has them, or they have in the past anyway. I haven't needed one for a long time. I've gone years, many years without having to replace any breakers. But it's funny how some of them have failed. What happens is you'll like fire up the microwave oven, and it'll go for maybe you're doing something that takes more than 2 or 3 minutes, and all of a sudden it shuts down, and you go outside and the breaker is thrown, and you reset the breaker and fire the microwave oven back up again, and the same thing repeats. You know, after about a minute and a half. And I'll go out there and put my fingers on the breaker, and the damn breaker's hot. But it's not, you know, the breaker has failed. That's the fashion in which they fail in, where they won't handle their rated load current. And you put a new breaker in, and it's fine. You know, there isn't anything wrong. Just the breaker isn't working properly anymore. But I still like the Square D products, and I guess because they're readily available, and I like the way they work. So anyhow, what else is going on here? He's out there. He's out in the utility room bitching now. I don't see him coming over the scope. He's not. Doesn't seem to be breaking my downward expander. So speaking of that, I've been really enjoying my Symmetrics 528E that Santa brought me on Christmas. It's really been working good, and I want to get my other 2 units working the same way. So I'm going to order up the capacitors. You've probably heard me say that before. I'm going to get on DigiKey's website, and because they've got them, they've got every one of them. They're non-polarized electrolytic caps, so I'm going to order, and I'm just going to swap them. I'm going to do both of my older 528Es. The one that I got off of eBay here is relatively new, so it's one of the last ones that Symmetrics made before they discontinued the product. But you know, I tell you what, people love 528Es. If I ever wanted to get rid of them, I got 3 of them now. If I ever wanted to move them, they wouldn't last on QTH.com for probably more than a day or 2, if that. Just like the SDRs, you know, particularly the Anons, you know, an Anon won't last on QTH.com or even what's the Facebook one? I forget what that's called, but it'll be on there for about 10 minutes, and somebody will buy it. AA9ZS WB9ECK.
Yeah, audio does sound good with those. Does a nice job. I don't know about, I haven't lost my affection for big old heat-producing, stinky boat anchors. In fact, a couple of days ago, I had to find the SP400 in a long time. And I turned it on. One of the dialects just out of the blue. You know, it's like, keep this stuff working. So I figured maybe the filament was burnt out. Screw in type space. Took the bulb out. No, the filament's good. Jumped at the lamp socket cap, shell cap that didn't come on. And, you know, there's that little rivet that holds the electrical terminal to the center pin. And I jumped at that with the end of the screwdriver, blew it up. I ended up having to solder that rivet to the electrical tab. I didn't do that before. It's funny, you let something sit and not use it, crap like that will break. But once that was fixed and warmed up for a little while, was listening to music programs on shortwave on Saturday night. That radio sounds really good. I think it's a pair of 6 pull, and I got a nice big speaker on it. You can open the bandwidth up to 12 kilohertz. I usually set it around 6, maybe sometimes 10. But it really does sound good. If you got good transmitters at the other end and some decent music programming. So that's how I spent my evening when it was storming outside, dropping that snowfall. We got ST600 in the basement. It's completely done. Works perfectly. I got it aligned and working fine to perfection. I haven't used it upstairs. I could bring it up here and put it on the table. So yeah, around the old board engine, mostly receivers, and I got some lined up here to do work. I got 238 RT88, that's a 51 J, I think. I've got 2 of those that need to be sorted out, but I've just got more crap to work on at the time. Man, it's getting freaking hard. My fine motor skills and eyes have shot at this point, so it really makes simple things tedious. The WB9ECK is A9GS.
Yeah, boy, I know that feeling. A9ZS, WB9ECK, very good. Yeah. Hey, I listened to WRMI, Radio Miami International from time to time, especially on weekends. And they play some pretty good music. It's they play a lot of the music that was popular in the late '60s, early '70s. But they were coming through the other night like a bomb, in really good shape. And they've got this announcer on there, man. He's a hoot. He's just kind of a goofball, but he's in a good way. He's not. There's no malice or anything, but boy, I can bet that when he was in high school, he got more than one swirly, as to describe the guy. Well, anyway, they're on. I think it was 5850. I'm not sure. I shouldn't say what frequency. There's another one on 9 megahertz somewhere in 93 something or other. I forget now. Up in 9, the 31 meter band. I forget. But anyhow, it's always a grin listening to those guys and the music that they play. He'll say, "Send me an email and I'll play your song." And I did that one time, actually, a couple years back. I sent him an email and I wanted to hear, what did I want to hear? I forget now. Steppenwolf, I think. I had him play a Steppenwolf tune that I hadn't heard in a while. Well, anyway, I guess I don't have anything else here too terribly important. The wind is still whipping here. Let me see what the Davis, hang on a second here. Oh hell, I can't begin to see that display because the sun is ricocheting off the snow out here and it's just blinding. It's just screwing me up here big time. So, but it looks like the wind is still out of the west, is what it looks like. And my driveway is blowing back in again. I'll probably go out before dark, just before dark. I'll go out maybe at 4:45 or somewhere in there and make a swipe up to the mailbox and back. And then, because I can see it drifting from here, I can see it filling in again. The driveway just fills back in. So, alrighty, okay, well, see, glad to hear Blue is doing good and Alpo is doing good. I bet Alpo has got his spot where he goes when it's below zero. I bet he has a special spot where he can get out of the wind. I would just guess that. But it's pretty cool to have mules. They're neat critters. If I was gonna have a horse or a mule, I'd have a mule in a heartbeat. So, okay, see you later. AA9ZSWB9ECK.
WYFR. Before that, was WNYW, CBS shortwave, WNYW worldwide. And they got sold to Family Radio and got the WYFR call, and then the real estate expense. They moved the whole thing down to Okeechobee, Florida, and then I'm not sure who the guys are behind WRMI, but they do a lot of broadcast Cuba. But they do have real good music on them. When they first started up, they had no paid programming. Run non-stop. Very good station. They also got a couple of spots depending on which way the wind's blowing. Wind's blowing out of the west right now, about 14 miles an hour. And whichever way the wind blows, Alpha's got a shelter spot on it. Okay, it was good hearing you, Bob. And I hope to catch you again sometime. WB950K today, that'd be great.
Okay, great. We'll catch you later. Have an interesting day. WB9ECK.